Now let's move on to our next topic, contract law. Instructor introduces the topic. There are 4 requirements for a legally binding insurance contract, which we can remember using the acronym CALC. The first requirement, represented by the letter C, is consideration. Consideration means that both parties must exchange something of value. In an insurance contract, the insured pays a premium, and the insurer promises to pay benefits if a covered loss occurs. So an exchange of premium for a promise. Instructor provides an example. Let's say I'm meeting with Pearl to complete her life insurance application. I'll collect the first premium payment from her, which might be a quarterly payment if she's chosen to pay premiums 4 times a year. Pearl will give me a check made out to ABC Insurance Company for the quarterly premium amount. I'll then submit Pearl's application and premium payment to the insurer for consideration. The second requirement, represented by the letter A, is agreement. An agreement means there must be an unconditional offer and acceptance between the parties. In our example, let's say Pearl applies for preferred rates based on her health information. When I submit her application, the insurer will review it and decide whether to insure Pearl at the preferred rates. If the insurer accepts Pearl's application as submitted, we have an agreement. Instructor presents a different scenario. Now let's consider a slightly different situation. Suppose the insurer reviews Pearl's application and discovers she has high cholesterol based on her blood test results. In this case, the insurer might not be willing to offer her the preferred rates because her high cholesterol makes her a higher risk. Instead, the insurer makes a counteroffer to insure Pearl at standard rates, which are $150 per quarter, more expensive than preferred rates. Pearl frowns.
So instead of paying $600 per quarter for preferred rates, I'd have to pay $750 per quarter for standard rates.
That's correct, Pearl. At this point, there's no agreement yet because the insurer has made a counteroffer, which you can either accept or reject. If you accept the insurer's counteroffer of standard rates, then we'll have an agreement. If you reject the counteroffer, there's no agreement, and no insurance contract will be formed.
I understand. Let's say I accept the counteroffer and agree to pay the standard rates.
Great. In that case, we have an agreement. I'll collect an additional premium payment from you to cover the difference between the preferred and standard rates. You'll also need to sign a policy delivery receipt, which I'll send back to the insurer along with your additional premium payment. Once the insurer receives these items, we'll have an agreement and the appropriate consideration. Instructor moves on to the next requirement. The third requirement for a legally binding contract, represented by the letter L, is legal purpose. The purpose of the insurance contract must be legal. In Pearl's case, the purpose is to provide a death benefit to her beneficiary if she passes away, in exchange for premium payments. This is a legal purpose, as life insurance contracts are recognized and enforced by the law. Instructor provides a counterexample. To illustrate an illegal purpose, let's consider a scenario where someone takes out a life insurance policy on a business partner with the intent to murder them and collect the death benefit. This would be an illegal purpose, and the contract would be void and unenforceable. No court would enforce a contract that was entered into for an illegal or criminal purpose. Instructor introduces the final requirement. The fourth and final requirement for a legally binding contract, represented by the letter C, is competent parties. Both parties to the contract must be legally competent to enter into the agreement. In most states, individuals are considered competent to enter into life insurance contracts at age 15. However, competency also refers to mental capacity. If someone is mentally impaired or under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of signing the contract, they may not be considered competent. Instructor provides an example. Let's say someone applies for life insurance while heavily intoxicated and later regrets their decision. They could potentially challenge the validity of the contract, arguing that they were not of sound mind when they entered into the agreement. If a court finds that the person was not competent at the time of signing, the contract could be voided. Instructor summarizes the requirements. To recap, the 4 requirements for a legally binding insurance contract are consideration, agreement, legal purpose, and competent parties, which form the acronym CALC. If any of these requirements are missing, the contract may not be enforceable. Does anyone have any questions about the requirements for a legally binding insurance contract? The class is silent, indicating understanding. Wonderful. You've all done an excellent job of following along and grasping these important concepts. Remember, understanding the basics of contract law is crucial for anyone working in the insurance industry or seeking to obtain insurance coverage. Great job on completing this video. Now it's time to test your comprehension of the concepts we just discussed. This video corresponds to ICAP quiz course number 11. Remember that number. Click the link in the comments section to access the Insurance Class Assistance Program, also known as ICAP. Once you're there, look for quiz course number 11. This quiz will help us see if you truly understand the material and are prepared to move on to the next video. Don't forget, ICAP quiz course number 11. Good luck and keep up the great work.